Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Infinite Shadow Split. Chapter 1. Shaoguoshan Prefecture, Liangcheng, Heping District, Flip Bucket Garden Community, Building 9, Unit 2, Room 602. At 7 o'clock in the afternoon, in the bedroom, Tang Gao sat at the computer desk, supported his chin with his hands, and looked sadly at the report card in front of him. I was unemployed after graduation, and now the wave of unemployment is so serious, just with this achievement. Unless I become a cultivator, I will definitely become a coolie dog. Quote. In this world of revival aura, coupled with the current situation of the economic crisis, unless ordinary people change their destiny to be admitted to a particularly powerful university, or become a cultivator that thousands of people yearn for, there is no good career for you to choose at all. If you want not to be chosen by life, you have to find a way to choose life. Tang Gao sighed. The results are rolled up like this, Zhenema is outrageous. Quote. However, the reality is that this society is rolled into dogs, and schools are even more rolled into dogs, and Tang Gao's diligent efforts can only barely be swept down. In school, you have to get at least the top 20% of grades to get a good job. The problem is here, a month later, it is the college entrance examination, unless a miracle occurs, otherwise you can only enter a fairly good university. After experiencing career planning, graduate and do the job that ends at a glance, and lose the possibility of life change. School is the most convenient place to change one's destiny, and after entering society, it is almost impossible to change one's destiny in the current environment of unemployment wave. Are you not resigned to your fate? Tang Gao looked at the dialog box that popped up on the computer screen, and was violently touched in his heart, and subconsciously clenched his fists. Depend. Who is willing to live a hard life? Not to mention what to buy a house and buy a car. Parents have worked hard to support themselves for so many years, and they also want to work early to earn money to repay them, so that they don't work so hard anymore. As a grandfather, who does not want to rely on their own efforts and wisdom to make more money and let their family live a happy life? The burden of life has long been pressed on the heart through a poor life. Who is willing to endure such a life? Who can bear to watch parents work hard for themselves and be indifferent? Tang Gao only hated himself for not being smart enough, only hating himself for not working hard enough, only hating why he couldn't become a cultivator, to reduce the burden of his parents' life, to repay his parents for so many years of nurturing. So, are you willing to take a very dangerous path? Tang Gao didn't think about it, directly pulled out the Velvet software, killed this dialogue window, and cursed. I've had such a miserable life. There are still people who poison this broken computer for me. No matter how hard and poor I am, I can't risk my life to do anything outrageous. I am at least responsible for myself, and I am responsible for my parents. If something happens to me, my parents will have to cry to death. Stupid dogs will inexplicably accept this consent. Are you when I didn't download the anti-fraud app? A light blue skill panel floated in front of Tang Gao's eyes. Detection passed. Super hang-up system is being installed for users. After installation, please check the situation of the skill panel. Please install the newbie guide action. The first step, call the skill panel with your mind. Click to expand the video introduction. Tang Gao was dumbfounded and tried to shake left and right. As a result, it was found that the light blue system frame moved with his own perspective and floated in front of his eyes. Aha, really fake. Am I hallucinating? Tang Gao tentatively shouted, skill panel. A light blue skill panel appeared in front of Tang Gao, with only one line of words on it. Skill points. 1. Ask users to consume skill points to extract skills. Idea use, or, manually click to use. Click to expand video introduction. Tang Gao tentatively clicked the skill points on the skill panel. Extracting. Congratulations to the user for extracting the activated Shadow activated Shadow system, first order, level 1 active effect. Quantity 1 create a living shadow to replace the ontology action, divided into 3 modes, automatic hang-up, observation blessing, and consciousness projection. Passive effect. Faintly enhanced blue back ability in a shadowed environment, different degrees of amplification will be obtained depending on the concentration. Tang Gao felt a stream of knowledge flowing into his mind, and naturally learned to use the activated shadow, and even had the opportunity to become a cultivator because of this. Now, though, there is a small problem. Tang Gao's face turned pale. Isn't the dark department wanted by the world? Quote. The shadow system is a branch of the dark system. Except for some small countries and chaotic areas, most civilized societies have issued wanted warrants for the dark system. Historically, the Dark Department has set off waves of terror many times, so that any civilized society has a natural hostility to the Dark Department, and the kind that sees the Dark Department will be the first to shoot. It is not wrong to awaken this ability, but if others know about it, it is wrong. The corners of Tang Gao's mouth twitched. If he wanted not to be noticed by others, he must become stronger as soon as possible and enhance his own strength and concealment ability, otherwise it would be miserable. Any cultivator, unless he encounters special circumstances, will not be required to show his strength or attributes. It's best to find a second skill to cover up this ability in a short time. Depend on, quote, within a month, I must become a first-order cultivator to break away from my status as an ordinary person, and at the same time, I have to cover up the fact that I am a shadow cultivator. It can't be said that the difficulty is high, it can only be said that the difficulty has never been seen before. Depend on. Ordinary people who normally have cultivation talent need 3 years to start if they want to become cultivators. I just don't eat, drink or sleep, and I can't match the effect of other people's 3 years of hard training in a month. No, I'm a man with hangings. Tang Gao quickly clicked on the skill and began to check this automatic hang-up, observing the blessing and what the situation of consciousness projection was. Automatic hang-up, that is, summon a shadow man, let him move freely, maybe to fight, maybe to exercise, maybe to collect. In short, the shadow people will become stronger in their own way. Observation blessing, that is, the body is in the state of observing the shadow person, and the shadow person will get a certain positive state buff and random state reward, which will help the shadow man's activities. Consciousness projection, that is, the ontology consciousness enters the shadow person's body, immersively controls the shadow person's actions, and at the same time obtains the dual strength superposition of the ontology and the shadow person, maximizing the strength and greatly improving the combat ability. Shadow people can gain experience through fighting, gathering, exercising and other activities to become stronger, and at the same time can synchronize the harvest to the body. If the shadow dies, the user can re-summon the shadow man. To use. For detailed instructions, please click the skill manual to read carefully. Tang Gao looked at the activated shadow skill, thoughtfully. So, I can keep summoning the shadow man to cultivate or fight to become stronger. Quote. If you cultivate, it is naturally the next policy. The shadow man is a summoned object that perfectly replicates the essence. What qualifications he still has a little number in his heart. No matter how diligent he is, he can't become an official first-order cultivator within a month. The middle strategy is to send shadow people to fight and stay at home to cultivate, so that they may be able to catch the tail of becoming a first-order cultivator at the end of the term, but the disadvantage is that they may expose the shadow system. The second problem is that I don't know how effective this battle gain is. What's the best policy? Use your own consciousness projection skills, bless the shadow people to fight, seek wealth and danger, and go all the way to the dark to win the hope of a Jedi turnover. Ding dong, the task system is turned on. Users can receive tasks and get rewards by completing tasks. Tang Gao's eyes widened, his mouth opened slightly, and he was surprised. Intimate, too intimate, so that their growth efficiency is greatly guaranteed. Chapter 2. Accept the task, and complete the task to get a direct reward. Isn't it safer than going on your own adventures? Tang happily clicked on the task list according to the newbie's guide, and the smile on his face instantly stiffened. What is this special? Quote. Close the task list. Open the task list again. Close the task list. Open the task list again. Tang Gao had to admit that he didn't hallucinate, and he did see a series of tasks that made people feel cerebral hemorrhage, and couldn't help but hold his forehead. What kind of outrageous task is this? Opening square bracket. Introduction. The difficulty star is formulated according to the user's strength, which is convenient for users to accept tasks according to their own strength. 10-star task. Break into the core area of the internal data of the college entrance examination and modify their own information and grades. 9-star task. Blackmail or bribe relevant personnel of the college entrance examination to modify themselves to a good university. 8-star mission. Rob or steal college entrance examination materials. Prepare for the exam in advance. Really, if I had this ability, I should be immortalized on the cover of anti-terrorism textbooks. What else would I have to worry about passing the exam? Who can complete this kind of operation of a 10-star good citizen? Tang Gao complained while turning on the filtering function, directly ignoring all the tasks above 3 stars, relying on his current ability to contact 1 star and 2 stars, or 3 stars will be up to the sky. What is the difference between whimsical missions to get more than 5 stars and looking for death? Tang Gao started from the low star, and sure enough, he found some tasks that he could complete. Newbie mission. Let the Shadow Man enter the low-level copy. Once mission reward. God level lottery once increase or decrease rewards according to completion. Newbie mission. The Shadow Man's first battle. Mission reward. Draw 1 attack type skill. Welfare mission. Consciousness controls the Shadow Man once. Mission reward. You can get a random buff skill. Tang Gao's face was much better, and his eyes shone as he looked at the God level lottery. The newbie task is really powerful, you must make a wave. Quote. I don't know what kind of God level reward I will get when I get it, the only thing worth thinking about is how this low-level copy can maximize its benefits. Tang Gao saw the 3 low-level copies associated on the side. 1-star copy. Beat up ordinary criminals. 2-star copy. Kill monsters and deal with pollution according to the guidelines. 3-star copy. Kill or defeat a felony first-order mid-stage cultivator. Tips. You can try repeatedly and finally submit your results. Tang Gao looked at the 3-star copy here, feeling that this was already the limit of his current tolerance. A cultivator in the middle of the first order happens to be a cultivator who has not completely transformed but has not completely transformed, and if he can create a miracle, there is a small probability of killing. Of course, if the other party is a cultivator of the late first order stage, for ordinary people, even if it is an extreme powerhouse among ordinary people, it is undoubtedly crushing. The gap between ordinary people and cultivators is even bigger than the gap between dogs and people, and it is so large that it is impossible to cross. Tang Gao began to summon the Shadow Man, tentatively following the instructions of the newbie above to activate the skill, aiming his palm at the shadow on the ground. Shadow activation. Shouting out will feel more imposing, just like Wang Fried must shout to clear his heart. Tang Gao's face changed slightly, and he clearly felt that a warm current in his body was withdrawn, and a burst of fatigue swept up, and that warm current spewed out from the palm of his hand like a stream of water and fell into the shadow on the ground. The color of the shadow on the ground quickly became very thick, and then he got up from the ground like a living person, stood in front of Tang Gao, tilted his head slightly, and stared at him curiously with dark eyes. It was a dark shadow all over the body, but it was 3-dimensional like a human being, with a vague appearance shape, just like the murderer Little Black Man in Conan. Tang Gao shook his hand, slightly strange. Is this how a cultivator feels when he releases his ability? Shadow Man, move the bed. The Shadow Man followed the instructions and directly stepped forward and began to drag the bed, gritting his teeth, pouting his ass, and pulling very hard. Tang Gao knew in his heart, it seems that it is indeed a perfect copy of everything about himself. Quote. The physical fitness of ordinary people of this spicy chicken is their own. At that time, he will project his consciousness and have his own blessings, and he should be able to try to kill this enemy. Tang Gao read the copy guide and knew that it was time to teleport the Shadow Man into the quest for battle, so he began to prepare equipment for the Shadow Man. Aprika, and the lime powder left over from the previous decoration, take this chainsaw and live together. The cultivators in the middle of the first order are very strong, but they still have obvious weaknesses of ordinary people, and they are not strong enough to be otherworldly, and they can ignore this level of attack. Thanks to the Technological Society, it gave me the opportunity to fight back. Okay, get the gear and enter the quest. The Shadow Man took the thing, stood in front of the body, and a glimmer of light flashed on his body and disappeared in place. Tang Gao sat in a chair and used his consciousness projection skill to personally control and bless the Shadow Man. 3-star copy. Death Row Prisoner. Mission Introduction. Zhao Cheng, 30 years old, a mid-first order cultivator, was discovered after killing a young girl first, and absconded for half a year after killing several male college students who blocked him, and is currently hiding in an abandoned countryside on the outskirts of the city, occupying an empty house to live. Opening square bracket. Mission requirements. Kill, or defeat. Tang Gao looked at the introduction of the task in front of him, and for the first time felt that killing was a kind of forgiveness, simply a gift to death row prisoners. This kind of garbage does not deserve to die. He should live in incomparable pain, he should live more painfully than anyone else. Tang Gao looked at the middle-aged man in a black leather jacket who was eating garlic noodles in front of him, and a smile appeared on his face, containing a smile of killing intent. You will pay for your sins. ... Zhao Cheng was squatting on the threshold of the kitchen, with a mobile phone holder in front of him, playing a short video of beautiful women dancing, watching with interest. The shadow under the grape rack in the yard suddenly began to expand into a circle more than a meter wide, and a pitch-black figure holding a chainsaw came out of the shadowy ground, with a bottle of chili powder and a bottle of lime powder hanging from his waist. Zhao Cheng was shocked, hurriedly stood up, and knocked down the mobile phone holder on the ground. Dark cultivator. Quote. Dark cultivators, all civilizations are recognized as the most evil, the most terrifying, and the strongest cultivation system. Extremely difficult enemies in the same level to defeat. He has already hidden here, why is he targeted by the dark cultivators? Chapter 3. Zhao Cheng smashed the bowl towards the shadow man at the first time, ran wildly to the bedroom on the side. Next to the bedside of the bedroom, there was his combat knife. If he could find the combat knife, there was still the power of a battle. Tang Gao was immersed, his consciousness descended on the shadow man's body, feeling that his own power and the shadow man's power were perfectly superimposed, and subconsciously dodged the other party's throw. Swoosh! A strong wind brushed the face of the shadow man and flew over, and even slightly scraped the face of the shadow man, leaving a slender wound. Tang Gao was stunned for a while. He didn't expect that the cultivators in the middle of the first order just threw objects, and they had such a terrifying force. If they smashed on the head of the shadow man, they could definitely seriously injure the shadow man. No, you can't make any mistakes, you have to fight as hard as you can to kill the other party. What kind of system the other party is a cultivator, you must find out this information. Tang Gao rushed up with an arrow, and with the blessing of the body, twice the quality of ordinary people, he could barely catch up with Zhao Cheng, holding a chainsaw and cutting it directly. Zhao Cheng shouted, his speed suddenly increased, a dodged the slash of the chainsaw, directly smashed the window and rushed into the house. His eyes flashed with hope, grabbed the combat knife placed at the end of the bed, and was overjoyed. Ha, you are dead. Quote. I'm a mid-first order battle chi system cultivator, are you really such a bully? Zhao Cheng got the combat knife, his confidence increased, and he quickly turned around, looking at the shadow man who rushed into the house, laughing wildly. Boy, I want your dog's life. Zhao Cheng condensed the battle chi, and a white sword light condensed on the combat knife, slashing at the shadow man like lightning, and the knife wind was fierce and quite powerful. Tang Gao's scalp tightened, and for the first time he felt the pressure of cultivators on ordinary people, and he had the illusion that he would die if he couldn't catch it. The chainsaw sounded, buzz. Directly blocked Zhao Cheng's knife. Poof! Zhao Cheng's combat knife passed through the sweep of the chainsaw like lightning, directly beheading the shadow man. The shadow man's head fell to the ground, looking at Zhao Cheng with a hideous face. What do you say? The amateur self challenges others professionally, and this gap is indeed a bit big. Zhao Cheng watched the shadow man in front of him being killed, his hideous face gradually eased, and he laughed. Maid, smelly boy, this skill also dares to challenge me. The shadow man's body began to turn into pitch-black points of light and dissipate in the air. Tang Gao looked at the rampant Zhao Cheng in front of him, and calmly chose the function key in front of him. Re-challenge. ... Zhao Cheng squatted on the threshold of the kitchen, holding garlic noodles in his hand, and looked blankly at the hot dancing young lady in front of the mobile phone holder. Quote. What's going on? Am I miraged? Quote. Everything that just happened is an illusion. Zhao Cheng saw that the shadow under the grape rack in the yard began to spread, and a shadow man holding a chainsaw with chili powder and lime powder on his waist walked out of the shadow step by step indifferently, like an endless cycle of nightmares. Zhao Cheng's face instantly turned pale. I'm finished. Quote. High-level illusion. This must be a high-level illusion. The shadow man stood in front of the grape rack, with a murderous smile on his pitch-black face. You will pay for your sins. Zhao Cheng's pupils shrank sharply, a trace of blood burst out. The instinct of survival can make him burst out stronger strength, throw the bowl in his hand to the shadow man again, and run to the bedroom on the right side playfully. As long as he gets the combat knife, he has the hope of living. 30 seconds later, Zhao Cheng beheaded the Shadow Man again, but his face was not happy at all, and he watched the Shadow Man on the ground dissipate little by little. This time, the Shadow Man held up 2 more moves, although it was only 2 moves. However, it was 2 more moves. The scene in front of him returned to the familiar note again, holding the fragrant garlic noodles in his hand, and on the mobile phone screen on the mobile phone holder in front of him, the familiar hot dancing sister swayed the familiar movements. Zhao Cheng's eyes looked desperately at the shadows under the grape trellis, and the damned Shadow Man was like a cruel killer, walking out of the shadows with indifferent steps, with a familiar killing intense smile on his face. Zhao Cheng threw out the bowl and chopsticks like crazy, and rushed to the window with a roll, inspiring the battle chi in his body to smash the window and rush in. As long as he got the combat knife, he could live. As long as you get in that direction, you can. Ah! The chainsaw was thrown out like a sharp sword, directly cutting and smashing Zhao Cheng's right arm, making him unable to hold the combat knife. Zhao Cheng's eyes were red and bloodshot. He struggled to hold the combat knife with his left hand, turned around, and his face was crazy and hideous. What do you want? What exactly do you want? I have money, you let me go, I'll give you money. Quote. As long as you can escape from here, no matter what the cost. The Shadow Man looked at him calmly, and his voice did not wave. When that girl was pleading, did you let her go? Zhao Cheng's face turned completely pale. No. It's illegal for you to kill me. I will call the police. I'll call the police and catch you. You let me go, I won't hand you over. Tang Gao looked at his crazy appearance, and the smile on his face was very peaceful. Don't be in a hurry, we have a lot of time. I'm happy to see you keep your memories. Zhao Cheng was crazy, and at any cost to stimulate the battle chi to form a knife slash, then we will all die. I don't believe you can hold on. Tang Gao directly clicked to challenge again, not giving the other party a chance to chop down at all. Zhao Cheng sat on the kitchen threshold with warm garlic noodles, his eyes full of despair looking at the Shadow Man standing in front of the grape rack. This time, he did not resist. The garlic noodle bowl in Zhao Cheng's hand shattered on the ground. He knelt on the ground, crying and kowtowing, and a small pit was knocked out of the ground. Please, let me go, no matter what price I pay, I am willing to accept it. Tang Gao hummed a ditty, sounded the chainsaw, and the buzzing voice was like a happy ballad. We still have a lot of time, a lot of time. Zhao Cheng raised his head in despair, his eyes were full of grey collapse and madness, and his voice was hoarse. Demon, I curse you to hell. Tang Gao hummed a ditty and waved the chainsaw in his hand vigorously, decapitating him. Blood splattered all over the body, one ground, one wall, flowing and spreading along the body, the wall, and the ground. The headless body fell at Tang Gao's feet. Tang Gao looked at the 2 options that popped up, did not look at the submission results, but hummed a little song and chose to challenge again. It's not fair enough, it's not enough. Death is a gift to him. Zhao Cheng sat on the threshold of the kitchen, his face was extremely frightened and white and blue, his whole body was trembling, his eyes were trembling, and his voice was trembling. You. This one. Demon. Don Gao pulled the chainsaw and nodded in approval. It's a little, but not much. Quote. Buzz. Sting. Quote. Chapter 4. Zhao Cheng fell in a pool of blood at the kitchen door, his eyes were dull, and a thick despair filled his face, and he couldn't remember the first time this was reincarnation. The front end of the chainsaw held by Tang Gao continued to drip blood, and a small pool of blood dripped out in front of him, like the blood and tears of an innocent person finally dripping into the world. Tang Gao looked at Zhao Cheng, who had lost hope, wiped the blood on his face, and said lightly, "Fight me with all your strength, and when I defeat you, I will let you record a video of turning yourself in and confessing your guilt, and in the end, I will kill you." Zhao Cheng's gray eyes lifted, slightly lit up with hope, and his face trembled slightly. Really? You don't deserve to question me. Zhao Cheng's face trembled, and he only dared to lower his head. Good. Tang Gao clicked to challenge again, and the picture in front of him came to the courtyard again, and on the kitchen threshold not far away, there was a pale-faced man. Zhao Cheng went to the bedroom with a pale face to get the combat knife, walked out of it, and looked at the Shadow Man in front of him with great fear. Use all your strength, otherwise I will torture you to death, and you will never be able to escape this reincarnation. Zhao Cheng was afraid, afraid to the extreme, he frantically squeezed all the power in his body to fight, and every knife was rapidly consuming his life force. Tang Gao's face calmly caught the unloading force diagonally with a chainsaw, and took the opportunity to counterattack the stab, as if he was holding a combat knife in his hand instead of a chainsaw. I don't know how many times in reincarnation, combat technology has long been different from the past. Click. The chainsaw was cut off by the combat knife, and a deep wound was cut out of the shoulder of the shadow man. Tang Gao sighed slightly. The gap in strength is still too big, and the technology is not enough to make up for it. Zhao Cheng cried bitterly and apologized madly. No, I didn't mean to win. Quote. It was Tang Gao who obviously lost, but it was Zhao Cheng who cried like a dog. Tang Gao smiled lightly. Don't cry, let's do it again, don't let the water go, otherwise I won't let you go. Time. Reversed again, and Zhao Cheng returned to the kitchen threshold in despair. Come again. The calm voice was as cruel as the ruthless pronouncement of death. You won again, you're amazing. The voice of praise as the most ruthless disregard in the world. Yes, it seems that I have to learn to kill in one move to defeat you. Like a child learning to walk for the first time, the face of the pitch-black demon showed a smile of accomplishment. You in the middle of the first order are not enough, can't you squeeze life? Burn your life until later. Quote. The pitch-black demon made new demands. Zhao Cheng could only do so, being dominated like an ant, and could only bow to the ruthless demon god. A snow-white flash flashed and cut off Zhao Cheng's neck. The pitch-black demon showed the brightest smile. This is the most perfect grade, I saved it, well, I will kill you. However, in the next inning. Quote. Still a familiar beginning, a familiar scene, a familiar demon. Zhao Cheng knelt on the ground on his knees. Tang Gao sat in front of the threshold, and threw his mobile phone to him. Come, turn yourself in, by the way, talk about your psychological feelings, after I am satisfied, I will kill you. Quote. Zhao Cheng caught the mobile phone and pointed it at himself. His face was full of extreme fear, despair, pain. There is also the longing and hopeful look that finally ushered in death. I turned myself in, I confessed my guilt, I killed a girl on December 7th last year, killed several male college students, and later killed a few more cultivators on the way to abscond. I deserve it, I was trapped in this illusion and killed 100 times, I am not a human, I am an animal, I am a trash, I beg you to kill me, I beg you to kill me. Kill me, why don't you kill me yet? You promised me, you're going to kill me. I confessed, you killed me. Quote. Zhao Cheng is crazy, he has long gone crazy under the fear of exceeding normal. The phone fell to the ground and looked up at the sky, continuing to record. The ruthless voice sounded. Call the police. Zhao Cheng trembled, hope burned in his eyes, tears flowed down, and the corners of his mouth laughed. After I call the police, you will kill me, right? I'll call the police. I'll call the police. Zhao Cheng picked up his mobile phone and dialed the number he least wanted to dial. In half his life at the fastest speed in his life. I am Zhao Cheng, who raped and killed a female college student half a year ago. I am in Taisha village on the outskirts of Liangcheng. I confess, I turn myself in, I beg you to kill me. Kill me. Quote. Ah. Zhao Cheng's neck was cut off, the phone fell to the ground again, and blood splattered all over the phone screen. Tang Gao stretched out his hand and clicked to end the recording, and carefully downloaded the cut, deleted all the pictures that might expose his appearance, and also distorted his voice 100 million bits, so that even if there is an official recovery, I am afraid that he will not be able to find himself. The phone was not hung up, and the conversation continued, and the operator on the opposite side was still asking for the address. Tang Gao silently put down his mobile phone, stepped back for a distance, and chose the most perfect result submitted for saving. Tang Gao's consciousness returned to his body, rubbed his eyes, and found that only 12 minutes had passed. Complete the task perfectly, get 3 times. The reward God level lottery is converted into a reward for a God level. Evolution skill. Infinite evolution. Each time you can open an evolution bar, you can get an evolution reward after completion. Draw an offensive skill to convert into a combat class reward. Congratulations on obtaining the class card. Violent Justice Messenger. The wider your prestige spreads, the higher the justice value, the stronger the bonus you get. Random buff skill is converted into a combination skill. Combination exclusive. You can merge with any shadow person and perfectly fuse the power of the shadow person. Tang Gao looked at the reward in front of him and laughed. Gee. This wave absolutely takes off. Quote. Even if you can't become a first-order cultivator within a month, with just these 3 skills, you will have a good job in the future. A new window popped up. Mission completed. Reward 1 year of cultivation. The Shadow Man was influenced by you, obsessed with this feeling of violence and justice, and wanted to apply to become a violent justice messenger. Do you agree? Tang Gao's eyes widened, and he felt a warm current of power surging in his body, and the energy of a full year of penance filled his body. And this benefit? No way. From today, I am a good citizen of Samsung. Punish adultery and eliminate evil, the kind that started with me. Although the 3-star task is very tortuous, if I can bear this boring, come a few more times, let alone a month, I only need to complete it twice, I can become a first-order cultivator. Tang Gao looked at the second article again, calculated for a while, and decisively agreed. With the fit skill, I can fuse the power of the Shadow Man at any time, and the stronger the Shadow Man, the stronger I am. Besides, you can also get cultivation rewards. The stronger you are, the stronger the Shadow Man. It's a two-way positive loop. Must agree fiercely. After the Shadow Man becomes stronger, it will be more convenient to perform tasks, and the speed of becoming stronger and stronger will become faster and faster. Chapter 5. And, most importantly, at that time, it is completely possible to fuse the Shadow People to disguise the attributes of the Violent Justice Messenger to cover up the Shadow system. Perfect plan. The Shadow Man fuses the professional card Violent Justice Messenger, which is being transformed into a Violent Justice Messenger, Shadow Life. The Violent Justice Messenger, Shadow Life, has a career system, can be advanced, cultivation skills, etc. Tang Gao's eyes widened. Lying groove. Quote. Isn't this equivalent to transforming a Shadow Man into a cultivator? This class card is very strong. The Shadow Man turned into a Shadow Life. Is this definitely a career card, not a creation life card? Tang Gao hurriedly summoned the Violent Messenger of Justice, the Shadow Life. A pitch-black berserker with blood-colored eyes, wearing pitch-black hideous full-body armor, holding a combat knife and shield, and exuding a righteous aura stepped out of the shadows in the center of the bedroom and reverently knelt in front of Tang Gao. This is a reliable sense of power. The helmet style is rough, the shoulder armor has favorable angles, the armor is very thick and rough, and all the accessories are combined to accidentally exude the style close to the guardian of the regular cultivation, but because of the bloody corner design in the details, it will feel very violent. Tang Gao opened his mouth wide, shocked that the transformation of the Shadow Man was actually so great. Hurriedly checked the attributes of the Violent Justice Messenger. He was already a battle chi system, and he used the righteous chi, which was the superior attribute in the chi system. Very strong and violent. If this is released, you can hit 10 of them one by one. Tang Gao was so good that the corners of his mouth grinned to the root of his ears, and hurriedly clicked on the task system. This must not arrange a 3-star task. The task list pops up and finds that the Samsung taskbar is empty here with only a 23-hour, 54-minute, and 47-second countdown on it. The corners of Tang Gao's mouth twitched slightly, but he didn't expect that there was still a cooldown time, so he had to flip down the 4-star mission. 4-star mission. Kill the second-order Hidden Fox. Hidden Fox, the middle and high-rank Fox clan in the Fox clan, has a strong concealment ability. Not 1 or 2 higher ranks cannot be found. Found the kind that you can't necessarily catch yet. If you catch it, you may not be able to fight it. The difficulty is ridiculously high. Farewell, excused me, sorry, another one. Tang Gao took a look at the 5-star mission. 5-star mission. Challenge the local guardian team and leave alive. Tang Gao decisively blocked all tasks above 3 stars, which is not something that people can do. Even if there are unlimited challenges, they can't do it at all. Killing a mid-first order battle chi outbreak cultivator had tormented himself for so long. Go and challenge the guardians of the city and leave alive. What are you kidding? 1-star copy. Beat up ordinary criminals. 2-star copy. Kill evil monsters and deal with pollution according to the guidelines. Tang Gao sighed, so he had to click on the 1-star copy and the 2-star copy to join the ranks of automatic hang up. Mosquito legs are also meat. After playing the 3-star Task: look at the 1-star and 2-star tasks, and then look at the 1-star and 2-star food, and it is a pity to abandon it. But it's all meat, and you can't just let it go. When these 2 tasks are completed, let the violent messenger of justice exercise himself. It's not a big problem, just another wave tomorrow night. The strength of the violent justice messenger has been greatly improved, and it is very easy to solve 1 and 2 stars. Tang Gao didn't even bother to project consciousness, just observed the blessing, felt it, the difficulty dropped sharply, let the violent justice messenger act automatically, and it was only a matter of time before he got a perfect evaluation. Forget it, you shouldn't be so greedy, rest early, and have classes tomorrow. Tang Gao cleaned up, went directly to bed, used observation blessings to collect intelligence, and then used consciousness projection to quickly get a perfect evaluation. HMPH, it's trivial. A self-surrender call broke the calm of Liangcheng, and the team of guardians of Liangcheng rushed out, attacked at the speed of light, drove the chariot blessed by the cultivator, and arrived at Iron Sand Village in less than 20 minutes. Due to the rapid development of Liangcheng in recent years, this village has entered a semi-abandoned state. Only the elderly and some children remain here, half of the rural yards are vacant, and there are much less fireworks than in the past. The arrival of the guardians shattered the peace here and attracted the attention of the entire village. After the guardians got off the car, they quickly surrounded the farmhouse with mobile phone signal, and the mortal snipers set up their guns, raided the cultivators in formation, and directly smashed the gate of the courtyard and rushed in, shouting, "Zhao Cheng, you've been surrounded. Give up the off. He's dead." Quote. The guardians rushed in and saw the body lying on the ground, as well as a head tumbling under the grape trellis. On the face of the head, the fear, despair, pain, madness before death froze. There is also the desire to actively seek death. Hiss. What the hell is this situation? The strange scene made the guardians present shudder. In the pool of blood that was still a little hot, the screen of the mobile phone that had been on the call kept on. A pair of rough palms put on gloves, reached into a pool of blood, picked up the lit phone screen, and hung up the call above. The blood-stained mobile phone screen reflected a rough national character face, and his eyes were full of solemnity and seriousness. Zhao Cheng was caught, but things are complicated. General Liu, what's wrong? General Liu glanced at the wound of the headless corpse, squinted slightly, and did not open his mouth to characterize this matter. Zhao Cheng's case was extremely bad, and in the past 6 months, the pressure on the official investigation organization in Liangcheng had increased, and he even did not hesitate to send a high-level cultivator to assist, but he was actually stunned that he had not caught this loach-like criminal. General Liu, a 6th-order cultivator, was personally responsible for this matter, and it was also the reason why he brought everyone to Iron Sand Village in less than 20 minutes. Liu Dazhong clicked on a video on the mobile phone desktop to play. Zhao Cheng knelt on the ground, looking desperate, fearful, painful, longing for death. Telling about his sins, he was trapped in illusion and killed hundreds of times, until the other party opened his mouth to say the police, and after calling the police, he was instantly beheaded by a chainsaw. This is the end of the video. The sound was clearly modified, and the only evidence was that snow-white chainsaw. Quote. This is deliberate killing. Quote. Being trapped in high-level illusion and being tortured and killed hundreds of times is simply the most cruel punishment in the world. General Liu muttered slightly. What is the family background of the deceased? Ordinary families, with no background, or ordinary people. General Liu, do you think that this is someone invited by the family members of the deceased? Quote. There is a possibility, and it is not low. General Liu stood in place and looked around, his eyes looking under the grape rack, and he seemed to be able to see the traces of shadow aura fluctuations remaining. It's very subtle. If I hadn't come here myself, I'm afraid no one would have been able to detect this slight shadow fluctuation. Set up a top-level investigation team to find out the shadow cultivators who have appeared in Liangcheng in recent years. Obey, General Liu. It's just that. General Liu, why is that? Quote. This case has come to this point. What is the purpose of the new high-level investigation team? General Liu's eyes were solemn, because there are no illusion fluctuations here. Quote. There are traces of shadow fluctuations remaining, but there are no illusion fluctuations. Zhao Cheng was not trapped in a high-level illusion. It's a more terrifying, more hidden, more powerful. Even in powerful spells that he could not see, he was tortured to death alive. It is stronger than the Sixth Order, it is taller, and it is not yet perceptible. General Liu couldn't help but laugh. Ha, this Zhao Cheng is good luck. Quote, how lucky is it that this Zhao Cheng will provoke such a powerful power and be killed by such a powerful spell. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.